All right, we're gonna get started. We'll start with roll call. All right. Do pledge of allegiance first, then roll call. Pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, now ready for roll call. Yep.
Very good. Mr. Antibelli,
Here.
Mr. Falcone,
Here.
Mr. Gutkind.
Here.
Your zoning solicitor, Mr. Auslander, and your zoning director are also present.
Okay. We're gonna get started with case Z 2024-32. Okay, yeah, quick announcement, I guess, first. So if anyone's here for the Z 2026-01 El Car Wash, we're gonna hear that next Wednesday. We have a special hearing that we set up for Wednesday night. That also goes for the 2026-07, the Summit Avenue property. That will also be part of the special meeting next Wednesday. So that's the 22nd, 7 PM, right?
That's correct.
Yep.
July 22nd.
So yeah, if anyone's here for those, we're gonna cover those next Wednesday. They won't be part of tonight's hearing at all. Yeah, and that was just to ensure that we have, so since they had covered several hearings, you know, we've got a couple people that are on vacation, and that way we'll all be here next week to go through those. Okay, so first up, Z 2024-32. Mark and David Gilbert pertaining to the subject property at 4224 Westchester Pike. The applicant seeking a special exception approval for the expansion of a non-conforming use on the property. The applicant also requests relief from any other sections of zoning ordinance that may be realized during the zoning hearing board process. The subject is located in R3 zoning district.
So the applicant's here, here,
Okay.
not here yet. Maybe we can, turn.
Okay. Moving along, we'll come back to that. So yeah, we'll officially go ahead and I'll make a motion to continue El Car Wash Z 2026-01 to the special hearing next Wednesday,
So moved.
July 22nd. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. So next up, do we have to vote, Sam? Keep me honest here. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yep,
Continue to.
yep. So next up, we've got Z 2026-06 Bayard Avenue, Bayard Anderson, 6 Boot Road.
Continue.
They're requesting a continuance to August 20th, so that'll be the August meeting.
Have a letter.
Okay. Okay, admitted.
I move we accept the letter as well, continue to August 20th.
Yep.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Right, long. So we covered this one up front, but next up is Z 2026-07 Beth Benner, 770 Inverness, Westchester, PA. This is pertaining to the subject property at 606 Summit Avenue. I will make a motion to continue that to the July 22nd meeting at 7 PM. July 22nd, yep.
Second.
Oh.
So moved.
Second. All in favor.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next up, we've got Z 2026-09, Matthew Emery, 3768 School Lane. Pertaining to the subject property, the applicant is seeking relief from 172-104 to allow the installation of a privacy fence with the front yard setback. The applicant also requests relief from any other section of the zoning ordinance that may be realized during this process. This is, subject premise is located in R3 zoning district. Want to come on up? Matthew, you here?
To raise your right hand. Affirm to that when you speak.
I affirm, yes.
Yes.
Andy, is the file in order?
For proof of publication that we have tonight too. Take a look. Doesn't have a mailing list, all property owners. Previous subject property. Purchased by mail. Must go closer to the property. Accurate.
Okay.
Here, is that correct? On the representation of our zoning. Yes, that, yeah. List of questions, you can notify, you can. Write this down. Number 5. County Daily Times. Posting of the property, notify. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, admitted. All right, Matt, you want to take us through your case?
Absolutely. Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and members of the zoning hearing board for the opportunity to present my request. My name is Matt Emery, and my wife and I work for approximately year. We love our home, our neighborhood, and our community. We are committed to doing long-term. We are requesting a variance to allow a privacy fence and farther toward the street fitted on ordinance. This request is based on the unique characteristics of our property, not simply a personal preference. Our home sits on a corner lot with an unusually large side yard that functions as our family's primary backyard. While zoning ordinance treats this front yard with borders the street, it is the only practical space where our family can safely play, relax, and enjoy our property. Fence is required to remain behind the current setback. Significant portion of usable yard excluded from the enclosed area, substantially limiting its function. This is especially important for our family. We have 2 young children, including a newborn in a fully enclosed yard, allow them to play safely. Privacy that homeowners on interior lots naturally. Our request is designed to be compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. Proposed fence will not interfere with traffic visibility or create concern. It will be located outside the required site triangle, consistent with a well-maintained residential property. We have invested significantly in the home and intend for the fence to enhance both the appearance and values of the property. This request does not seek to maximize development or create an unusual use of it.
Thank you. We are simply asking for reasonable relief that allows our uniquely configured lot to function like a typical backyard. Because of the property's location and configuration, strict application of the ordinance creates a practical hardship that is not experienced by most other residential properties. We respectfully believe the requested variance represents the minimum relief necessary to reasonably enjoy our property while preserving the character, safety, and aesthetics of the neighborhood. Thank you for your time and consideration. I would be happy to answer any questions.
The height of the fence is 6 feet, is that right?
That is correct.
Proposed fence. So if you're driving down the Elgin towards School Lane, is there traffic that could? Just trying to think through the line of sight if you're coming down Elgin and you're,
So the only fence that would be visible when you're going down Elgin would be actually in accordance with the ordinance, because it would be, directly, it's the bottom left of the picture. And so that goes directly to the property. The area that would be in the, what the ordinance considers the front yard is the top of the picture,
where
which
this
is along
along school lane?
And our driveway is to the left of that, which is where the intersection is, which is why adding the fence there would not interfere with any visibility in the intersection, because there's a large driveway as well as additional front yard, our actual front yard that is ahead of where the fence would be.
Other questions? Yeah, no, I know where that house is, so I looked at, yeah, this is the driveway here.
6 feet, sir.
If it were lower, this isn't one of the, that's not, I guess, something from a relief standpoint that's being asked for. It's really a location of fence, if I'm understanding right.
Well, the fact that it's privacy, completely opaque, is the primary issue.
Got it.
Or is it, what is it stocking? Part of the fence, is it?
Our front yard fence requires, standards require fencing in a front yard to have a 1-to-1 open space ratio. So if you had, let's say it was a picket, if you had a 2-inch picket, you would therefore have to have a 2-inch space before the next picket. So a 1-to-1 ratio. A privacy fence is completely, opaque. There is no open space ratio.
Where did they driveway?
The fence.
And the height is limited to 4 feet in a front yard.
Yeah.
Unless it's along the private, arterial road.
The house across the street from you, what kind of, he looks like he has a fence. What kind of fence does he have?
So that is
So
a
as you're
fence.
approaching-
That is actually a park fence. And the letter that you received is from that neighbor. I think,
Fence is here to.
Bill or William, sorry, I think William Patterson.
Yeah.
B A
He has
T
two
E
front yards.
S O N, or I think that's the right spelling.
And it looks like there's already a fence.
Yeah,
Maybe
P
it's fence.
A T T O N. William,
Right, so
But he's got-
the privacy fence that would be
Going
going
up.
up would be replacing
It's like
our
here.
existing fence, which is a picket fence that runs along kind of the right side of the photo.
Oh, okay, so that 170-foot stretch is a replacement of an existing fence.
Exactly.
How high is that one currently?
At the highest point, it's 6 feet, but it
Okay.
has an arc to it, and so, it's not continuously 6 feet. And I guess, what might also be additionally helpful, so the black line at the very bottom is identical to the fence that we're asking to be put up. It is a 6-foot opaque privacy fence. And that property owner also requested a variance to have that installed where it was. And so the fence that we're asking for would be a continuation of the existing fence.
what fence is that one?
From that photo, all the way to the left, yes, that is the existing fence. And so the fence that we're asking for would not go out as far as that one touches the street of school lane.
And you're gonna replace this with a solid fence,
Correct, yes.
but the same height and configuration.
It would be a 6-foot privacy vinyl fence.
And what is this one?
That one is also 6 feet, but it's not privacy, and it also has an arc to it, and so at the highest point, it's 6 feet. I think it's it's basically 8-foot sections of fence. And, from end to end, it's 6 feet, 6 feet, and then it might dip to about
So-
5 feet.
Just so it's clear in my mind. This fence here is not 6 feet or it is 6 feet?
It is 6
The
feet.
picture, this is 6 feet.
That is 6 feet.
Okay.
I guess that's 6 feet and then obviously it dips
Yeah,
down.
I-
Yeah.
And you're gonna replace this fence
Correct,
with a solid fence
correct,
of the same height,
correct.
but it's not gonna go out as far to the street.
Exactly. It will go behind the tree line. So that from the street, you would see trees, and then behind the trees would be the white fence.
Now, all the other green, is that also gonna be part of the fence, all green, that green, or is it, just are we
yeah,
just
all
talking
of it.
about the 170 feet?
All of the yellow highlights, so the fence, the existing fence that you were just pointing to is the 170 feet highlighted yellow line on the right side of the image. What's not shown in the photographs, the black line on the drawing. There is last year, a fence that is identical to the one that I'm requesting to be put up. It currently exists, and that is a 6-foot privacy fence.
We're only looking at the 170 feet is the problem?
Technically, the 84 that runs along School Lane, the 84 feet is
The problem?
section in question. Yeah.
Okay,
Because in the front.
And I would only suggest that there be a stipulation if you so choose to assure that it's whatever, if you choose to approve this request, that it's kept out of right away.
okay.
And I can provide the property owner that dimension.
Okay,
That's just like a setback off of the street.
That would be that would be the township's right of way
Got it.
along the street.
anything in the right of way.
Typically, it's about 12 feet from the actual paved surface.
Okay. Can we do it?
Yeah, any other questions?
I have none. I move that we,
Can we have some public comment?
yep,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Is there any public comment? Anyone here to support or?
Sure. John Nawn, Nawn, 3772 School Lane. It's weird being on this side of the podium. How you doing, Andy? How you doing, Sam? Gentlemen, thank you for allowing me the chance to speak. New neighbor, great guy. I hope he stays here. Looks like he's got a nice family. Hope they stay and enjoy the town as much as we have for the last 25 years. Great place. Little bit concerned, I guess, for a point of reference, I live across the street from the Emery property. Okay, I have the house on the other corner of School Lane and essentially School Lane or School Lane in Elgin, if you think about it that way. So, I have a fence partially around my backyard, my front yard, because as you know, by definition in our code and the municipality's planning code, if you live on a corner lot, you have 2 front yards. Okay, now, one thing we don't allow in Newtown Township is fences in the front yard. It's the curse of buying a corner property. Okay, I get it. It's no problem. In fact, we don't allow fences in front yards at all in Newtown Township, so you get hit twice if you have a corner property. Hey, I got no problem with what people generally want to do with their property and things like that. My concern is setting a precedent. Okay, you look around our town, we don't have fences in the front yards. It's not something we do in Newtown Township. It looks great, right? Nobody's got the big stockade fence right up on the street. It's very inviting. It's very warm. It's just one of those things that makes Newtown Square great. Okay, I know when a few years ago, when I put up my fence around my yard, I wanted to go out to the street and I wasn't even a stockade fence. I just have a 2-rail wooden, fence. But, of course, that was beyond the setback and I had to keep it at the building line. Now, to do that, I would have removed a 50-year-old, 50-foot high tree to keep it where it could have gone. So I ended up having to push it all the way back into the yard in order to preserve the tree. Would I have liked to encompass a lot of the yard and the tree? Sure. But, we got to follow the rules here. We're in Newtown Township. My neighbor or a neighbor across the street from Mr. Emery on the other street, okay, he's got a hedge in his front yard. He's come into the town. He's 70, mid-70s, maybe 75. He has to cut that hedge. It's a lot of work for a 75-year-old guy to go out there and cut his hedge. He tried to put up a fence. He wanted to put up, as I understand it, a post and rail or picket fence or something like that to limit his maintenance. He asked me about it. I said, well, you can go try, but I think they're gonna shoot you down. He came into the township, they shot him down. Of course, because again, it would be a fence in the front yard. So I mean, you're asking, especially on the school lane side, to put in 84 feet of fence in the front yard setback. Okay, we're not allowed to do that in Newtown Township. That's something. And I'm sure Sam can explain to you, opening the door for a precedent. I mean, if you approve this, I'll be back in next month. My neighbor across the street might be in next month. Once you've opened the door to fences in the front yard, I mean, you've got an issue then. We've got, you know, walk up and down the streets. I walk my dog all the time. I walk down here this evening. You know, you look, all the neighbors have their fences at the back, building setback line to, and it enclose their backyards. That's what we do in Newtown Township. So I don't want to, you know, deny my neighbor the enjoyment of his property, but based on his sketch there, I did some math and some calculations. As you know, I'm pretty good at math. Got about 21,000 square feet there. And if you don't grant him the variance, he's gonna lose about, I don't know, probably about 12% of that. You know, that he won't be able to enclose. It's not really a big deal. Now, one of the things the municipality planning code and our own ordinance says is that if you want, in order to issue a variance, the applicant has to demonstrate a hardship. Well, I don't see the hardship. I wasn't here for all his testimony, but I don't think I heard anything about a hardship. And as I understand it, he's already got an application in before the township to foot the fence where it would be allowed without needing the variance. Well, that being the case, then he's demonstrated that he doesn't have a hardship. He's willing to put the fence in. So I guess I understand he wants it, but I don't know that it meets the burden to grant him the variance. You know, his application says it's not gonna change the character of the neighborhood. I have to disagree with that. I mean, if you start putting fences in front yards, that is changing the very character of our neighborhood of Newtown Township. So that's my thoughts. Appreciate you considering them. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Anyone else? One follow-up question. So just to confirm, the proposed fence along School Lane would be new, so not replacing something that already exists. And then the 170-foot stretch kind of along the right-hand side of the photo here is what you would be replacing that already currently exists. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Question, Andy, the fence, the reason he's here with the 84-foot fence is because it's not a one-to-one fence. For a one-to-one fence, he wouldn't need to be here?
Well, that's correct. Recently, last year, as late as last year, the township did amend the fence ordinance to allow picket style, split rail style fences, like right in a front yard. So, but we limited privacy fences, and basically stated that you could not have a fence greater than 4 foot or that was opaque, right, in a front yard. It had to be open. It had to have that open nature. Unless it was along a principal arterial street. And then at that point in time, could have a stockade style fence, but you had to seek special exception approval. So either way, the gentleman would be here before you.
So even if it was 4 feet
The
high,
fact that he's here today is because he wants a stockade fence beyond the frontmost portion of the building.
So
Okay.
but he's looking
So
for
the
a
height,
exception
the
or a
height,
variance?
well, both things apply. Right, so, but he is along an arterial street. So subsection 1 is the section I quote. And that says that shall be limited to 48 inches in height and maintain a minimum of a 2-to-1 ratio. I said 1-to-1 earlier, of open space to structural member, such as a picket, such as post and rail fences, split rail fences, and picket fences. That's what subsection 1 says. He's a 6-foot fence beyond the frontmost portion of the building, that stockade. So he would not, the current application would not comply with subsection C1A.
But what would he have to do if he made it a 4 foot? What would that do?
I'm sorry,
If he made it a 4 foot fence, is he in compliance?
it would have to be picket.
Okay, so if you put a picket 4 foot fence, he can
In
do
the
that,
front
he
yard,
doesn't need to
as
be
he
here.
showed, it could be done by right. under the new ordinance.
I think I would suggest highly you do that.
So my concern with doing that is then I now have three different styles of fence around my property.
Then-
Right, I
then
have-
The new fence you're gonna put in, make it match that one.
The new fence that we would put in would be create a completely uniform fence around our backyard. What is our functional backyard?
Here's your problem. Okay, it's our job, right, to give the minimum amount of relief based on a hardship. Okay? You have a little hardship because you're on our arterial street, okay? But the ordinance also allows for you to compensate for that by making a different kind of fence that you have. Kind of put us in a bind because there are reliefs that you can do without the kind of fence that you're after. So we're trying to come up with some kind of a compromise that you can live with, we can live with, and your neighbors can live.
So the board's aware that one of the provisions, although he requested a variance, this may fall under the special
I
exception,
know that. So
which is a lesser burden.
lesser
than-
proof.
Than a
Correct,
variance.
yeah.
So I just want to be clear on that.
I know that. That's why I was asking you questions about. What do you guys think?
So if it was special exception, it would be only a picket
What-
style. Well, I'm just,
Yeah, right now he's just
From here to here,
Right?
picket
If it,
style.
if it's a special exception, it'd be a privacy fence, so it'd be a solid fence. It can be as high as 6 feet.
got it.
And you can place conditions
Right.
as a result of it falling within the special exceptions.
How much is his front yard? I mean, how far back does he have to go?
Well, of the front yard, we always looked at the building line.
Right, I understand.
In regard to fences, so if you look at the section that's highlighted 84 feet.
Yes.
And you see the driveway identified at the left of that plan.
Yes.
You see, I assume what's a garage that kind of sticks out into that driveway. So that would be the front building line that fronts along School Lane.
Okay, so he'd have to come all the way back to the driveway line where the arrow is on the driveway? Is that what we're saying?
Well,
The arrow's the driveway and
anything
then the arrow?
beyond that garage projection and School Lane is the front yard. Anything beyond that.
But I think he's asking about the right of way.
Oh, the right
No,
of
no,
way,
no, I'm asking about. I guess what I'm asking is the end of the house.
yes,
So he would have to move the fence back, whatever, to this line here.
unless you grant a special exception.
Right. But he
Or-
could now, how far, doesn't look like it's very much. Right? He's
Well,
only gotta
yeah, I don't
come
have that
here.
dimension.
Right.
I don't have that dimension on that plan.
Then he'd be okay.
Is it,
You
And in
understand
fact,
that?
I mean, in fact, that was the initial suggestion that was made during the review process, that you could move it back and avoid coming before zoning. If you wanted to.
You see what he's talking about, your building line?
Yes, I am aware of that.
How many feet is that you're looking at? Doesn't
Because
look, from your draw, that's why it's always good to give some kind of dimensional drawings to us.
I think it's approximately about 35 feet from the edge of my house to the very, to the pavement.
But you're not talking about pavement. You only have to be at your building line.
Right.
It's not the pavement, it's the building line.
If you look, there is a dimension of 28 feet. So if you look at the garage projection, that steps back. Then there's a highlighted section that parallels the front of the garage, and that says 10 feet. And then from that corner, it goes out towards School Lane, 28 feet. We don't know what that dimension is between that line that's highlighted at 10 and the actual garage front. I don't know what that is. Say it's 10 feet.
something less than
So there would be
28,
an
yeah.
18.
It's something less than 10 feet, like less than 28 feet though, right?
Yeah.
Or it appears from his drawing. It may only be 10 feet. So in essence, he'd be using 10 by, what's that, 10 by 85,
So I've done the measurements, when I was designing the fence. And so there's approximately 35 feet from the front of my property to the pavement of School Lane. And I'm not asking that I would have all of that 35 feet to put the fence right up against.
Yeah, the ordinance says,
Because the right of way is also included, so
Right.
that was my suggestion earlier, if you were choosing to approve it, that we would not want any approval to be granted within the right of way, that's important to the township.
I guess where I'm confused is you keep talking. The ordinance says you can, from the building line, not the front, so. You can run your fence something less than 28 feet, or your 35 feet, or whatever you keep measuring, right? You can put it from the edge of the garage, wherever your garage is, and draw that line, so it could be, it's something less, so you really only, potentially can only lose 10 feet.
So the way the plan is drawn there, I would lose approximately 25 feet wide by, roughly, the 84 feet. And so, it's basically a lot of 25 feet by 84 feet that I would be losing by having a fence line that was, we'll say, in line with my building.
How long is your driveway?
About 20 feet, 25 feet.
Well, 12 to 13 feet of that's gonna be right of way.
That's right.
So the amount of setback I have, in the drawing for School Lane is 10 feet. So the right of way would be minimally different from what the proposed drawing is. Essentially, it would move that 84 feet back only, 2 more feet. So there's a 20-foot indication, that's from the center of School Lane. The street is itself 20 feet, it's 10 feet on each side from the middle. And so the 20 feet that I'm requesting is 10 feet back from the street. And if I am understanding what the township manager is explaining is I would need to be at least 12 or 13 feet back from the edge of School Lane.
Right, you have to be out of the right of way.
And the concern with being in line, having the fence in line with the house is just that your yard is gonna be slightly smaller.
It would
That-
take away, essentially 25 feet from the edge of the property line. Not edge of the line, edge of the building line, basically to where I'm requesting that fence be built. Is 25 feet that I would be losing off my backyard.
If you moved it to the line of the property, the house line,
Right.
We'll have very. But you still have quite a
The majority of the backyard would still be enclosed. But, I don't know if I didn't do the 11% math that, my neighbor did. But it's definitely more than 11%. It's probably, I think more closer to about 20% of the backyard would be lost. So is that, it feels like a significant amount of the backyard that would get lost by, which is the reason that we filed for the variance.
Would you be comfortable with mean, here's what we're thinking is moving that back in line with the house, but you would be able to maintain the height that you requested. Again, we have seen historically a ton of these cases where they come in with the request for variance with the fence in the front yard. They have gone down substantially since the new ordinance has come into effect, so. And that's because people are they're falling in line with what, they're allowed to do. So me, I'm not sure if that's something that you'd be comfortable with.
Is what you're suggesting, would that not require a variance at all?
So my understanding is because of the height, he would still need a variance or,
But it's a special exception.
Special
because it's
exception,
not an
yeah,
aerial road.
yeah.
So the point is that if you so find that it would be acceptable as a special exception, because that's something that's acceptable, subject to conditions, you have the responsibility to put some conditions on
Mm.
that would satisfy what the interests of the township are.
So I think, an area where I would feel more comfortable that is not exactly what we drew, would be meeting essentially in the middle, where we would lose some of that portion in the front, but not all of it.
yeah, I mean, we already, at least in my view, with permitting the going up to 6 feet, we've already trying to be somewhat accommodating to what you're asking for, so.
We're amenable to giving you a special exception, like condition that you stay out of the right of way and you leave it in line with the house. That's our relief. The minimum amount of relief we feel is necessary for you to do what you need to do. I think that's kind of where I am. I can't speak for the other two members of the board. It's just, it's kind of,
Can I interrupt you just a second? Because I'm not sure we're all talking about the same thing. And I just have a quick question. Are you saying you want him to put the fence from here to here?
yes.
He can do that without a special exception at 6 feet,
Closed up.
closed up. He can do that, right? If he goes from here to here, our code allows that today
Okay.
because that's considered the backyard. The only place that he needs a special exception is if you allow it to go beyond
Okay.
this spot here. Because I think you were saying you were just going to allow him to do 6 feet to here. He doesn't need a special exception for that. Am I correct, Andy?
Yeah, as
Okay.
long as it stays out of the front yard.
I just want to make sure that you guys
Okay.
understand what you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, well, I'm good with that. If you want to, yeah, take a motion. Please. Comfortable with that?
I am, but better idea. Line of the house.
Let's do it. That way.
Yeah.
So our problem is, we don't know the dimensions. That's our issue. We don't know what your dimensions are here because they're confusing. So we don't know if you're 10 foot off that line, you're 15 feet off that line, 5 feet off that line. I mean, we could say, we're gonna give you 5 feet or 8 feet off that line,
When you say off that line.
off the end of
The
the
end of the
the
house.
house, the end of the house. The end of the building is what's in contention here.
Right.
Right? So if you, like David said, if you did a straight line, which is what I had mentioned earlier, you didn't even need to be here, but you want to extend in that front yard. Okay, and you need a special exception to do that, right? And the ordinance states special exceptions they're by right with conditions based on the amount of hardship that you have here. So, we'll try and compromise, but we don't know what those dimensions are to make the compromise, right? We don't know if it's 28 feet or if it's 10 feet or it's 50 feet. We don't know that because you don't have that dimension here.
Okay, so it's 48 feet. It's not easy for me to read that. So there is a 20 feet, so do you mind if I?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so it's 48 feet. 28 feet plus the 20 feet there. It's 48 feet. It's 48 feet back to this line. This is approximately 5 feet. So this part is not labeled, but that's approximately 5 feet. This is 28 plus 20, so that's 48. So 48 plus 5 is 43 feet. So there's, yeah, up to 43 feet between the
From the end of the house.
from
to
the end of the house to the
to
street.
To the proposed fence is how many feet?
23 feet. So in the sorry, no, 33 feet. And the reason I say that is because so the 20 feet there, that is, basically saying the edge of the middle of school lane
10 feet.
to
It's hard. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's just, it's.
the middle of
just-
school lane
Yeah.
to the fence is 20 feet. School lane is a 20-foot wide road, so 10 feet and 10 feet. And so the 20 feet at the top is 10 feet of street and 10 feet of the backyard that won't be enclosed. And so then 10 feet plus this 28 is 38 feet. Minus the 5 here, and we're at 33 feet. So essentially the variance that I'm requesting is to grant an additional 33 feet by 84 feet of backyard.
All we really care about is how far away you are from the end of the house, like where that fence, the 84-foot stretches from the end of the house.
Right. That's the only thing that concerns us.
Yeah,
That you're asked for a special exception for that. You want a special exception, you don't want a variance.
The special exception would give us additional space beyond the front of the house to
No,
where we
it
can
just,
reach the
it
84 foot.
minimizes your need for relief, is what it does. You have, special exception is by right with conditions,
Mhm.
okay? Variance is, it's not by right, you have to show us a higher degree of hardship in order to get it. Give them 10 feet.
I'm okay with that.
I'm gonna make a motion that we grant you a 10-foot off the end of the house as a condition, as well as not being in the right of way.
Aye.
Aye.
I,
You understand what you got?
10 feet from the edge of the house.
10 feet from the edge of the house, correct?
Yes.
You can put your.
Back from the edge of the house.
Right, back from the edge of the house.
Yep.
But outside the right of way.
Right, outside the right of way, so it needs to be at least 13 feet off from the street.
I'll provide you that
You'll provide
number
us
with
the-
your permit. I'll provide you that.
Well, approximately 13 feet off from the edge of the street.
Right.
And you need up to 10 feet past the
Right.
edges of the.
That line, the imaginary line.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, just kind of know when you come in front of us. It makes our job easier if you have numbers in a pretty good drawing so that we know what we're talking about, you know what I mean? Because it makes it more difficult for us and gives us, if you give us the right information, makes our job a whole lot easier, and you usually wind up walking away with a little bit more than you would get if we gotta start figuring and making full stuff out of you. Part. Thank you.
Just for clarification, so I know when I have to write it up. So we're granting a special exception, correct? And we're allowing 6 foot in height,
Yep.
privacy fence under provisions of privacy fence.
Yes.
And we're requesting that the fence be at least 10 feet off the front of the house, from the back of the house. And outside the township right of way.
Right.
And the general type conditions we normally put with special exception,
Yep.
correct? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Good luck. Thank you.
Is there a motion?
We did that, yeah.
We did
Okay.
that.
I did it, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Sam? Sam? Sam, do you want to go back to Gilbert or you want me to go to?
Are they
that
ready?
case here?
I would.
Why don't we get the other?
Not yet, all right, we'll do the other one. All right, next up is Z 2026-10. David and Dorothy Hogue, 1 Duty Drive, Newtown Square. The applicant is seeking variance relief from section 172-103 F3B to allow for the shed to be installed with less than 10 feet separation from the adjacent structure. The applicant also requests relief from any other sections of the zoning ordinance that may be realized during the zoning hearing process. Subject is located in the R2 zoning district. Okay, Andy, is the file in order?
Yes, the file is in order. We have proof of publication that shows that we advertised tonight's hearing in a local paper on 2 separate occasions. We also have the mailing list of all property owners within 200 feet of subject property boundary who received notice by mail of tonight's hearing. And we also posted the property with a placard showing advertising tonight's hearing.
Okay.
Based on the recommendation of the zoning officer, I asked that the application and accompanying documents and exhibits be made as Township Exhibit number 1. And the list of residents within 200 feet of the subject property were notified of tonight's application be marked as Township Exhibit number 2. Proofs of publication of this evening's meeting published in the Delaware County Daily Times on 2 consecutive weeks, be marked as Township Exhibit number 3. And the pictures of the posting of the property notifying tonight's hearing be marked as Township Exhibit number 4.
Okay, admitted. All right, Mr. Hogue. All right, take us through what you want to do.
Thank you for hearing our appeal this evening. We're looking for relief to install a new shed and to pick up some additional storage space from the existing sheds.
So if I can help.
Yep.
The requirement, I believe, Mr. Antabelli, you explained when you opened tonight's hearing about the requirement of subsection 103F. It requires a 10-foot setback from the primary structure. So that's one request that we identified in the advertisement. However, based upon Mr. Ho's current statement and some photographs that Mr. Auslander showed, there's 2 sheds on the property. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So there would be another variance need for the second shed. So that second shed wasn't shown on the application, the original building permit or zoning permit application that I received. So that's why it wasn't identified in the notice. So if you so choose, you would have to approve both a variance from section
D1.
172, 103C 1 B. So 172, 103 C1B, and that allows only, that section suggested only 1 shed be allowed on a residential property in C2. And then, of course, the setback requirement of 10 feet, as you previously identified, of 172, 103 F3B. So there would be 2 variance requests in this application now.
If I could,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. We're seeking to install a new 1 shed.
Oh, you're going to get rid of the second?
These 2 sheds are going away.
Oh, I apologize.
okay.
That's okay.
I apologize. So
Are
with
those
everything
sheds
I
there
just
now?
said.
Those sheds are there now?
Yes.
Have they always been there?
Pretty much since we built the garage back in 08.
Okay.
For mine.
So it's only the setback issue if we're dealing with one shed.
Right.
So
Well,
one of the
two sheds that are
conditions,
there.
one of the conditions could be that both the two existing sheds be
Go
removed.
with.
It doesn't appear that it's possible based upon what I'm looking at, but I'm not super familiar with the layout here. There's no way to, I guess, move the shed to another location on the property that would be not, I think what's in question here is it's 5 feet, that 5 foot distance to, yeah, not necessitate being within 10 foot of the existing garage.
That would be, that's the most convenient spot is right there for us. The only other place would be somewhere in the front yard.
That would create another barrier.
Sure, yeah, yep. Yeah, we don't want to do that. Yeah,
No.
we don't want another one of those.
The last time we were here, one of the board members described it as one of the most oddly shaped lots in Newtown Square. It's rather roughly odd shaped.
No.
Yeah, because that, you brought it up against that wall. Mhm. Guess you couldn't, like, turn it that way. Yeah. Yes.
Like, you have any questions?
Yeah. How big are the existing sheds, roughly?
The bigger one's roughly about 5 feet wide by about 7 feet deep. And the other shed is maybe that deep.
Okay. And this will just be like a prefabricated one that gets rolled onto the property
They'll have to assemble it
on site.
on site, yeah. They'll pre-build it and assemble it on site.
Is the new shed larger than the two sheds combined?
Yeah, it's going, we're hoping we can get 12 foot wide by 10 deep.
But it'll be approximately in the same space as
Yes.
the two
Yeah,
existing
it'll
ones.
Take up more of that space in front of the sheds.
On this drawing. Okay, that, the angles that you have in this one and this one,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to figure out how big is that space, you know? Will the shed, that 10-foot shed fit in there?
Yes.
So it won't be, in other words, it's not gonna be an angle, right? It's gonna be flush in that wall, like that's a 90-degree angle, the retaining wall and that 10-foot piece?
Yeah,
Is that a right angle? You know what I mean? I mean, it looks like it on this. Looks like it's a right angle on this drawing. But not on this one. You understand what I mean? Well, your shed's gonna be 10 by 12, correct? Okay. So that, will it fit in this, like the drawing you have here? right? It looks like it fits right in that corner. It's a right angle. It's not, it'll fit in there?
That back retaining wall,
Right, yes.
it'll fit within the first straight part of it there.
Okay.
Straight parts.
Right, I mean, it's not gonna be like this one, where you have, it's gonna be on an angle, where you have it open,
Says retain.
Makes sense against that.
both walls. Andy, this is variance.
Yeah.
Um. Are you looking at like a catalog? I don't know if there's, if you went, if it was slightly smaller, then you wouldn't. I mean, you're not gonna get away from needing the variance because I don't think you're gonna get inside of 10 feet, but,
No,
I don't know if there was something that was next size down from that 12-foot dimension that's
well,
would still satisfy what you're looking in
well,
for.
they're custom made, so,
Okay,
but we figured if we're gonna do this one time, we'd like to try to get as much storage space as possible.
You know, He's getting rid of two sheds, we're getting
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Improvement with 1/2.
Is there anyone here for public comment on this case? Okay.
I move that we grant a variance from 172-103 F3B to allow a shed to be installed less than 10 feet from the garage. The conditions are he has to remove the current two sheds are there and not to exceed a 10 by 12 shed.
Right, what was the last one?
And not to exceed a 10 by 12 shed.
Yeah, 120 square feet.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Chairman, before we get to the Gilbert matter, I think maybe we should just go to the extension. There's a
Yes,
request for an
yep.
extension. We can probably take care of that quickly.
Okay.
Here's the letter.
So just some additional business before we get to the last case here. Case Z 2025-27 at 4514 Florida Avenue is requesting a 6-month extension of the variance that was originally granted back on August 25th, 2025. Any concerns here?
No.
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 All right.
I
All
move
those
we-
in fit, yep, go ahead.
I move we grant the 6-month extension for the variance for the field 2025-27.
There's a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 February 2027.
Whatever
6 months?
6 months from today is, right?
6 months from their August.
From August.
From August 25th. Okay. Whatever that date is.
Yep.
I need your name.
question is. So it would be 6 months from August, right?
Correct.
That's when- is there any I'm sure that's fine. Is there any possibility to get a year extension? The only reason I'm asking, you're aware of the county is still not recorded. We just now got the plan, they approved plan to be signed. And, oh, I'm sorry, and we're still waiting on the recorder of deeds to open up to have it officially recorded.
Just so the board's aware, when the applicant came in last August, a year ago, they requested a year extension at that point in time, which is, the normal is 6 months to apply for building permits. So very honestly, they have had a year, so you can consider whatever period of time. But the initial request, as I understood it, was 6 months.
Yeah, we were unaware that there was such a short time limitation, and it's taking very long to get everything in order. So we just were able to go to planning last Monday. So they just finally opened up in order to sign off on it. And so we still have to wait for the assessment, because the county's we just got the plans, and the county is still technically not operating at full capacity.
You mean, when you said planning, is it the county planning commission or the township? planning?
The county,
County?
so it hasn't been, I mean, we haven't all the documentation, it's gone that far. But I mean, as far as I'm hearing, there's a pile of stuff that's waiting to be recorded once the county does finally start being able to record.
So for the edification of the board, the county has had a little issue with regard to their computer systems. But I think that issue has only been the last 3, maybe 4 weeks.
Right, since June 25th,
Yeah.
but we had just gotten our plans. So, I mean,
I didn't want to give the impression it's been a long
I
time.
was just asking if we could have the extension for another year.
Why don't we leave it to 6 months, and if it's still a problem, you can always get another 6. If you let planning know that, you already had 1 year and they gave me another 6 months, maybe that'll, if they think they have a year, they'll probably take it.
So we're saying that's still.
6 months.
6 months.
6 months.
Yep.
Until February 25th.
Correct. So when you go to the county, just say, hey, look, they gave me 6 months. I asked for more. They won't give it to me. Please, could you hustle this along now? Because it's already been a year. Good luck. They probably won't listen to you, but it's a shot. You're already at no. So the only place they can go is yes.
We've been taking our time. Well, thank you.
Yep. Good luck. All right. Last up, we've got Z 2024-32. Mark and David Gilbert, 3081 Westchester Pike, Newtown Square, pertaining to the subject property at 4224 Westchester Pike. The applicant is seeking special exception approval for the expansion of the use of a non-conforming use on the lot. The applicant also requests relief from any other sections of the zoning ordinance that may be realized during the zoning hearing process. The subject is located in the R3 zoning district. Andy, is the file in order?
Yes, the file is in order. All of the. Long ago, at that point in time. Right.
Yep. Sam, anything before?
No.
Okay.
The record is.
Talking about you guys for a long time.
Yeah, we've had testimony.
Okay. Yes,
All
yeah,
right,
take it
Dennis
away.
Dunn, representing the Gilberts.
Okay,
I appreciate all the continuances and all your patience. I can tell you it was definitely worth the wait. What we found out since the last hearing, I wasn't here, but I read the transcript, is that this property is not two separate lots. It is one lot. It was consolidated by a reverse subdivision plan that this township signed off on and was recorded in 1989. And what we've worked on since then, and once we got all that put together, that took a while to get all that put together. There was also an order that resulted out of an enforcement action against the former owner of the property, Mrs. Huber. And it was an order for zoning enforcement that ended up going to Common Pleas Court. And Judge Diggins signed an order in 1991 that says the Huber property is a non-conforming use. And it's been my position since I got that this property is a non-conforming use, and we have the order and the other stuff to submit. And Mr. Sakurai and I, he on behalf of the township, me on behalf of the Gilberts, have worked out a stipulation agreeing to the facts we can agree to, stating which ones we don't agree to, but also setting out what we're willing to do to agree, and that is we're agreeing and asking this board to enter an order granting the special exception, adopting a plan that shows the line on the property where the extent of the commercial use, the non-conforming commercial use is allowed to go to. And let me preface that with introducing into evidence the results of a right to know request. I don't know what the last number was for the exhibits. Off the top of my head, we can call this A10 if you want to. I just have no idea what it was. But it's a fairly bulky packet that has a whole bunch of pictures from that time frame. It has Judge Diggins' orders that were entered in 2 cases. So you can see exactly where all this came from. So I'll hand this up and you agree to this, right?
No objection.
Okay. Okay, go with A12. I was gonna have one.
We don't need it. One's enough for us.
One goes back here. One for this one. And then the beauty of this is, we did a stipulation that we both signed off on that has attached to it the decision and order we're asking you to enter. So you can save the time and aggravation of having to write a decision in this case. Yeah. Thank you. One for you. So with that, the applicant rests. I don't have anything else to enter because we've agreed to everything. Thank you.
I got it.
So, yeah, and I don't have much to add to that. So, no objection to the exhibits. They're already entered. There was this hearing, however long ago where I put in some exhibits that kind of showed what the township considered to be the expansion of the non-conforming use. The applicant said, well, that non-conforming use already existed. Rather than make you decide, it really doesn't matter if by special exception, the board is allowed to grant the expansion of a non-conforming use, and the township and the applicant agree to that expansion with parameters. And so what you have before you in that stipulation is the conditions that we've all agreed to, the extent of the non-conforming use. Now there's a specific hard line on a plan that everybody, it's because so much time goes by on a case like this. I'm not talking about from the first hearing. I'm talking about from the 1950s when the properties first started to be used as a tile business. And then the 1970s when that use expanded and all the way up until now with I'll call it a vague history. Now there's a firm line in the file with firm conditions that everybody can understand. Township considers that to be a benefit to the to the community and the surrounding neighbors. The applicant as well also has certainty now what he can use and not use. I will say the Board of Supervisors, I have signed this, the township manager and I had authority, we've kept the board apprised. We had the authority to negotiate. This has not been formally approved by the Board of Supervisors. This will be before them at their next supervisor meeting on August 9th, I think that is. The first Monday in August, second Monday in August.
Gentlemen, just a question. I haven't read the stipulation, but from what I'm hearing is that you both agree to the extension of nonconformity of the property. And you also have agreed to where the line for that extension exists.
Yes.
And it's part of your stipulation?
It's on the plan as Exhibit C. That plan.
Okay. Well, we haven't seen it, so.
Right.
And we don't, township hasn't officially approved it by the supervisors at this point, right?
That's correct. But
So my recommendation to the board might be that we take the 45 days to review the documents. We await the supervisor's decision, and then we'll see where we are. We want to modify the conditions. You have the right to do that at some later date.
of course, if you have any questions in the meantime, you can reach out to Mr. Dunn and me and we can
Absolutely.
clarify. I know you will.
Yeah, so we're going to continue it.
Oh, we're gonna close it, right?
Record.
The record is closed, right, gentlemen?
Right.
Yes.
Closing the record on the existing,
And they will
Hey,
take 45 days.
we have
to-
45 days from tonight's hearing to render a
Is-
decision.
Sam, before is there anyone that wants to make public comment on this?
Correct.
Hearing none? Okay, we can go ahead and close the record for this case
Yes.
then.
We have 45 days in which to render our decision.
Long time coming.
We're done. Good job. Good for you to be chairman.
All right. All right, I think we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
You don't.